Shiva's message is this: if you want to be one with me, dwell in devotion, self-surrender, and know yourself as me. And once you know yourself as me, play as you wish, for the benefit of all living beings. Sometimes people aren't able to study for long or listen deeply, but they still need a lifeline. They need help. So I say to everyone who hears me, start reciting any prayer, any mantra, any name of God, because these are sound vibration codes originating from one source. Austerity is the foundation for mastering reality. How do you achieve what you want? How do you stay on the path? In spiritual tradition, the guru serves as a guide, a conductor. Why is the guru important? Because the guru has experience walking the spiritual path. They have walked it their entire life and guide their students along it. Suffering exists in life, and this is a fact known to everyone through personal experience: aging, illness, and death. 2,500 years ago, Prince Gautama Siddhartha pondered these issues. This story is well known. In the end, he came to understand that suffering is an inescapable part of life. It cannot be avoided. It is the essence of this life. And if we are attached to life, we must do something about that suffering. Shakyamuni Buddha decided that something could and must be done. He became a monk, strong and renounced, and ultimately attained liberation from suffering himself. Likewise, the story of Prince Rama, described in the Yoga Vasishtha, tells of the same journey, predating Buddha. Rama traveled across India and returned to his father, King Dasharatha's palace, in a depressed state. He locked himself in his room and refused to come out. The king and his court didn't know what to do. The sage Vasishtha told King Dasharatha not to worry, that Rama was perfectly fine and was going through the process of awakening. The first chapter of Yoga Vasishtha is devoted to suffering and impermanence and contains Rama's famous monologue. Reading it can profoundly change you, even if you've never thought about these things before. What's it about? It's about the suffering of samsara, the impermanence of life, and the true essence of existence. Until we acknowledge the fact of suffering, we cannot progress on the path. You can dance, make music, learn foreign languages, or study quantum physics without ever realizing that suffering exists. But you cannot walk the path of spiritual awakening and liberation unless you first do the groundwork. Reflect on the nature of suffering, impermanence, karma, and the preciousness of human life. In many traditions, monks are first taught to engage in this deep reflection before asking questions about enlightenment, liberation, or happiness. Because if the root of suffering isn't understood, liberation becomes difficult. While we're young and healthy, we tend not to think about suffering. It doesn't interest most people. They're more focused on pleasure and how to increase it. But thoughts about suffering come later, when we face old age, illness, or loss. Then we begin to understand what suffering really is. Suffering means we were born in a part of the universe where limiting laws operate. This is the root and essence of suffering. In Shaivism, this part of the universe is called Ashuddha Tattva, the impure space-time order. In Vedanta, especially Advaita Vedanta, it's called Maya, illusion. We humans are not as fortunate as the divine liberated beings. We were not born in a pure realm. We were born according to our karma, into a limited dimension governed by the laws of karma: time, space, cause and effect. We are bound by physical forms and desires, so suffering is built into the program of our world. It's like being in a virtual reality game where the developers have created a harsh survival setting. There's pleasure in the game, but it's minimal. The dominant mode is survival. Unfortunately, we've landed in a reality preloaded with suffering. And what are the programs behind this? They are the three gunas, tamas, rajas, and sattva, which influence our minds. The five sheaths: physical, energetic, astral, mental, and causal, each limiting us. In Shaivism, the five kanchukas: kala, limited time; niyati, fate or order; raga, attachment; vidya, limited knowledge; kala, limited action and capability. We live in limitation, so suffering is inevitable if nothing is done, but there is a way out. This way is called the path of liberation, moksha-dharma. Even though we're in a limited world, we can still find the path to happiness. That path is moksha-dharma, the inner path of liberation. We ourselves contain two truths or poles: the absolute truth, where we are free; the relative truth, where we are bound by limitation. The issue is that we don't realize or actively ignore the absolute pole of our being. We don't acknowledge it, trust it, or believe in it. We're focused solely on our relative identity. In Shaivism, this is called incomplete knowledge. We possess self-ignorance, avidya or ajnana, about our true nature. This incomplete knowledge leads us to perceive a false picture of the world and ourselves. We're entirely absorbed in this illusion, and we've turned it into a belief system that only perpetuates our suffering, sickness, death, and rebirth. Our default perception settings don't let us see our absolute nature. Imagine people identifying each other by trivial traits, like calling someone a smoker just because they smoke, or identifying people by their hats. It's clearly false identity, based on unimportant attributes. That's what we're doing, forming our identity based on body-mind concepts and karma. This is the root of suffering, false identification. The problem begins with false identity. We think, I am a human being. But in Advaita Vedanta, it's said, your only problem is that you don't know who you are. You think you're human, but in reality, you're Brahman. The moment you start changing your identity, your suffering begins to fade. Shaivism says the same. You think you are Jiva, a soul, but in reality, you are Shiva. The deeper you understand, accept, and apply this, the more your problems begin to dissolve, including rebirth into impure realms like Ashuddha Tattva, where you're bound by time, space, form, and karma. If you start to shift and deepen your identity, you gain the power to break free. In our relative world, name and form define everything. When someone takes sannyasa or becomes a disciple, the guru gives them a new name. This changes their identity. Monks receive initiation, change their clothes and name. A name is a sound code, a vibration. The whole world is made of such vibrations. A name affects destiny, body energy, and consciousness purity. But don't limit everything to just the name. Reviving the culture of name purification is very important. It's present in Buddhism, Hinduism, and Sanatana Dharma. I myself went through such initiation. I received Diksha and a spiritual name. But the key to freedom lies deeper than name and form. It lies in realizing your true identity and becoming free from even that. Only then are we truly free. That's it. This is the key to liberation.